And then the live animals we are keeping are wild, and they are deadly. They are reptiles. So I think you know a brief story about reptiles. When you are told to mention a few characteristics about reptiles, you know about they are being cold-blooded, they are oviparous, they have scales, things like that, isn't it so? So normally before people enter us here, we normally bring them because we have got some precautions that should be observed. So in the alimentary canal of all reptiles, it is so much littered with a bacteria known as Salmonella typhi. And the Salmonella typhi causes typhoid. So when you get inside here, you will try to avoid direct contact with our walls, especially the glasses of the gauges, because we do not know the level of contamination within our there is another visitor who is joining you also. Toxic. Their venom can kill human in only 20 minutes in case of any snake bite. So what we normally tell people is the appropriate first aid that you must undertake in case of any accident. So when someone is bitten by a snake, he or she should be, the limb that is affected should be tied with a cord or a string. So if someone is bitten somewhere like an ankle here, you measure 4 inches above the wound and you tie. And then you make sure again you don't tie so tightly. You tie something like 60% tight, but not so tightly, because you'll be affecting the nerves. The venomous snakes that we have again here are categorized into 2 categories. We have got the cytotoxic and the neurotoxic snakes. So when you talk of cytotoxic, when you talk of toxins, you are talking of venom or poisons. So in common language is poisons, but as you expand your education, you'll be talking of toxins. So when you talk of the neurotoxins, it is those toxins that affect your nervous system. Neuro is a prefix meaning of the nervous system. When you talk of cytotoxic, cyto is a prefix meaning of the blood cells. So when you talk of cytotoxic, it means it affects your blood cells. So those snakes that are cytotoxic, when they bite you, you will cause a lot of bleeding throughout all of your openings, the ears, nostrils, mouth, because they cause what we call hemorrhage. Who has ever heard of hemorrhage? The breaking of blood cells is called hemorrhage. Okay. So when you are bitten by a snake, someone should be at resting position. Do you know why? When you start moving, your blood circulation will be fast, and venom will be translocated so rapidly to the delicate parts. So the affected person should rest, and then he should be transported using a motorbike or a car to hospital. All right. So what we normally teach here is people should actually conserve nature. Okay. They should conserve nature. They should conserve plants and animals, because in an ecosystem there should be all organisms so that the ecosystem could be balanced. Other organisms will be eating others, and others will be eating others, so that the number of other organisms will not rise so much. You know about the food web. So snakes mainly feeds on rodents, rats, frogs, insects, fish, birds, and all those animals that reproduce in large numbers, those small animals. So when we have snakes in our ecosystem, it helps us in controlling the population of rats. And in that connection, it controls diseases. Some snakes again that are found in our wetlands are fond of eating snails and slugs. And you know that slugs actually causes a disease known as bilharzia. Is it so? It has a microorganism that causes bilharzia. So when we have those snakes in our wetland, it helps us in swallowing those things. So when you do away with the snakes in wetlands, you'll be sure to suffer from bilharzia. So when we have these snakes, they will help us in controlling those things. And yet, snakes does not make unprovoked attacks. A snake will never bite you if you don't molest them. So they normally bite those people like us who are going after them. It's only the pythons that can swallow you because they are too huge that they normally consider humans as potential prey. And then the non-venomous snakes, they kill by constricting. But the venomous snakes like the black mambas and the forest cobras like the ones you're going to see here, they normally paralyze their prey using venom. That is why all venomous snakes are not so strong, because they don't need a lot of energy to constrict. Snakes again have a very elastic skin. That is why they can swallow prey that is 2.5 times larger than their diameter. All snakes again have got independent jaws. You know our jaws are fixed here. The upper jaw and the lower jaw is fixed. But for the snakes, it is loosely fitted. So that in case they are swallowing something that is greater than their diameter, they normally dislocate their mandibles to allow the prey to go through, and then later on they relocate. That is a very specialized head mobility. So you are going to see all those things inside here. All the venomous snakes again has fangs, 2 fangs that are using to deliver venom. But the rest of the teeth, they have more than 50 teeth. But only 2 are the ones that are known as fangs, which are hollow, and they have an opening at the end where the venom exits into your body. So whenever you come across a snake, you don't have to necessarily kill it, because they will not even bite you. But if you are playing around with them or going for them like we do, you will get ready to be bitten. So snakes has been used since time immemorial to be a symbol of medicine. So when you reach an institution where a snake is hanged or drawn, remember that when you see a snake, it tells you that's a place that is associated with medicine, like hospitals. When you go to a hospital, there are signposts. You will not miss a snake. When you go to medical colleges like medical training colleges, MTC, you'll find a snake. In the Bible, when the Israelites were crossing their way to Canaan, is somewhere in the desert of Zin. They were bitten by snakes so much that the Lord told Moses to make an idol of a snake using a bronze and hang, so that whoever was bitten by a snake, he would stare at the snake's idol and he would heal. So snakes actually are signs of medicine. And then again in the Bible, we see the Lord telling us, be as wise as snakes and as humble as doves. So we also associate snakes with wisdom. Even in the Bible tells us the snake was the most cunning animal. So for one to be cunning, he should be smart. So you should actually try to live like snakes, who does not actually provoke other people. They don't harm people unless they are attacked. So when you go back home, what we normally teach in our department, we acquaint young people with the knowledge of conserving environment, flora and fauna. So when you reach back home, you make sure you plant a tree. Because right now the crisis that our planet is facing has to do with global warming, climate change, greenhouse gases, and accumulation of a lot of fluorocarbons in the air. So when you plant a tree, we know that trees during their photosynthetic process, they normally absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen as byproduct. And oxygen is the purity of the air. So when you reach home, you make sure you plant a tree too. And you don't just plant a tree that is not of economic value. You plant something that when it produces fruits, you can harvest. So particularly avocados. Make sure when you reach home, every one of you should plant 2 grafted avocados. Because a mature grafted avocado produces seeds per year that costs up to 30,000. So when you have 2 avocados, you'll be having your 60,000. Despite the fact that you'll be in school, your avocado will be producing. Your parents will be selling the fruits for you and keep the money for you. And a mature avocado will take only 2.5 years. So with those few remarks, you are welcome to our snake park. You will move around here. Don't touch. Read the labels well, because we have labeled each and every snake here. The details about each and every snake is well put down. So as you move around, you read. When you reach where our baboon is, I know she will extend her hand to greet you, but don't shake her hand because she can pull you inside. And if that happens, if she will pull you inside there, we will leave you to remain there because Even myself, I cannot manage to rescue. During the time of music festivals a fortnight ago, 4 students from different schools were being snatched of their properties by that baboon. Another one, the goggles went. The baboon took the goggles. Another lady, they took the cap. And then another one, the chamfer. So in fact, I was telling the students, even the baboon is smarter than you because they have taken your things and yet you cannot even retrieve. So I was telling them, if you are intelligent, try to convince her to give you back your items, then I'll know. But none of them could. So you are welcome. In case of any question, you will ask. But inside here, all snakes, all reptiles lay eggs, except just a few which are marginalized to high altitude areas. The higher you go, the cooler it becomes. So those organisms that live in high altitude areas bury their eggs. No, don't bury their eggs. They give life birth, like the rhinoceros viper you will see here. But the rest of them do what? Lay eggs. The black mambas are capable of flying, but they make what we call false flight or pseudo flight because they don't have wings, but because of their muscular bodies, they are able to constrict and then suddenly jerk their bodies gliding, but they cannot rise against gravity. I think I don't have anything else to put across, but stop hunting. When you go back home, don't hunt. Don't kill these things, because in the Bible, we see the Lord telling Adam and Eve, have dominion upon all the creation and name them. So you should be knowing the names of various things. This is a leopard tortoise, for example, this one. This tortoise is 50 years old. Tortoises, like the leopard tortoise, lives up to 65 years. But some other species of tortoise, like the Galapagos tortoise, can live up to 300 years. Tortoises are herbivores. When you get to the vivarium here, you'll find tortoises and the terrapin. Terrapins have shells like tortoises, but those ones are aquatic. They live in water. But down in the ocean, we have the turtles. Turtles are marine. So feel free. You'll move along here to the baboon. You'll see our guinea pigs, whose anatomy and physiology is so similar to human. That is why we use them here for testing drugs. Even foods like the GMO, we normally test GMO with the guinea pigs because they normally give us relatively correct results. So before we introduce some stuff into human beings, we must test them with the guinea pigs. So in case of any question, you will ask. Make sure you don't make any noise. And any question? Yes.
Is it true that when a snake is devouring another animal, does it move its throat out so as it can get time to breathe?
You say what that?
A snake,
Is doing what?
when it's devouring,
Deferring.
yes,
Yeah.
it's eating, swallowing. Is it true that it moves its throat so as it can get space to breathe?
No, they don't move out the tongue. Instead, all snakes have got a hole in below their lower mandible that is called Jacobson's hole. So the tongue always retracts. The tongue always is retracted back into the Jacobson's hole when it is swallowing. Otherwise, they don't do that. And they normally use their tongues only to smell. Their olfaction nerve is situated at the base of their tongues, not like us, whose olfaction nerve is in the nostrils. So move around. In case of any rising question, we'll ask. But this is a third. Snakes again attract tourists, and when tourists are around, they give us a lot of money. I was given this thing by an American, and it costed $25,000 to reach here. This one is only sold in United States. It's not found anywhere in Kenya. So if it were not for the snakes, I would not have found this one. I also have a pair of binoculars, which I don't have it here, but I'll come with it to school. You will see. I was given that one again because of bird watching, because of birds. So when we cherish this wildlife, we attract tourists and they give us a lot of money. So they normally give old men like us only petty things like this and binoculars. But for people like you, they give you scholarships to go and study abroad. So make sure if you want to attract these people, you make sure the wildlife is welcome. One main important thing about snakes venom are 70% proteins and 30% enzymes. So scientists have extracted those ingredients so that they can use for the treatment of various ailments in human bodies. Like cancer is being treated by snake venom. High blood pressure is being treated by snake venom. The coronary thrombosis, an abnormality of the heart, is being treated by snake venom. So snakes, as I told you, that they are signs of medicine, is you have seen their marvel. Otherwise, other complications, we may not get medicine unless we get the proteins and the enzymes from snakes. So you are welcome, move around freely, and you enjoy.
Ati turtle. What's the difference between turtle and tortoise?
Turtle lives on water, while tortoise lives on land.
On?
Dry land.
That's the difference. Ja, hii tortoise inakushinda miaka, si wewe ni watu wa 7? Eh? Na hii kitu ni mbaya. Naona. Na iko na shape mbaya.
Iti nyenyenye.
Batata. Monkey.
This is a baboon. This is not a monkey. This is a baboon. Lakini sini inatumika tu kwa inatumika tu kwa rap na experiment
Kwa lab, tena unaweza kula, like I've eaten 2 of these. Kuna wakati walikuwa wanafanyia experiments na unajua wanafunzi wetu hapa hivi wanahitaji tu ngozi. Inategemea ni experiment gani. So like when they are doing taxidermy, kama wana preserve, they only need the skin na wanachukua nyama. Sasa wanachukua matumbo napatia wa therapy.
Is it sweet?
So delicious. In fact, first time when I was taking them home, I was taking them for my dog. So after roasting nicely, the flesh turned like this, the color of this t-shirt, and I was tempted to taste. So when I tasted it, was so sweet. I decided not to give to my dog again. So I gave the head and the legs, but the rest part I did the purpose of the dog.
How long does it take to mature?
To mature, it's only around 9 months to 10 months.
9 months, so 1
9
year.
to 10 months, not even 1 year. Especially when you feed them frequently like this, they mature fast.
They mature fast. And then when they give birth,
Their gestation is around 60 days.
60 days.
Yes,
60 days.
60 days,
Those are 2 months?
2 months. And they give birth to only 3 or 2.
3 or
3 or 2. And then their mortality rate is so high.
Okay.
So when they normally give birth again, their young ones are stiff and they have fur. Not like sunguras whose young ones are naked. So these ones, when they give birth to their young ones, something like 4 hours later on, they chew food.
4 hours.
So even if you separate from their mother, even in 3 days' time, they still survive.
Oh.
Yeah. So these things are economically important, suitable, because sometimes the universities are looking for them for their experiments. Like, you see, the University of Eldoret bought 24 the other time. 24 of them. That was around
Last time I came,
and yet
they were many.
Yeah, they were many. And yet you feed them with weeds. When you lack sukuma to feed, you just go for these weeds.
So they enjoy.
Like this one, since we bought them, you know, we introduced only 3 here. We have never vaccinated neither to treat them. But none of them has been sick.
They are like human beings.
They are like human beings. That's why around 85% of their physiology is similar to human.
Okay.
In fact, even some of them. Oh,
boy, boy.
Amesema itoshe.
Ati haifanyi maombi?
Ona vile tu nakula tamu. Shika. Patia hiyo manu. Ona tu vile amekaa vizuri kama mwanadamu kweli. Manu weke hapo chini. Nikanakula tamu. Wah.
Toka.
hii ni black mamba. Hii inaweza kufly.
This one.
I told you there is a snake that can fly. It is this black mamba.
How now and it doesn't have
It
wings?
has got very powerful muscular body that it is able to constrict itself and then suddenly releases the muscles, gliding down the gravity. But they cannot move against gravity.
Okay.
And then again, they are so swift. In terms of speed, it has a maximum speed of 11 kilometers per hour.
11 kilometers per hour.
In terms of venom, this is a neurotoxic snake that injects the largest volume of
Venom.
in single bite. It delivers 280 milligrams of venom in single bite. And yet, 15 milligrams is lethal for human. So it delivers venom that is 11 times lethal than it is necessary.
So once it bites you?
That's why when it bites you, it kills you in only 20 minutes. But sometimes when we put here a rat, when it bites the rat dies instantly. Not even shaking for 2 seconds or 5 seconds. It dies instantly. And it is one of the most aggressive snake. It can bite you more than 10 times.
This one.
And a single bite of this black mamba kills a mature elephant, whose weight is 7,000 kilograms. So it's one of the most feared snakes in Africa.
You see, it is small, but it can actually consume
In fact,
a big.
this one is a fully mature snake, black mamba. You know, black mambas are long and slender because they are arboreal.
So what does it feed on?
It feeds on rodents, birds, fish, and amphibians only. It feeds with a variety of organisms.
Do you have a python?
Oh no, we don't have a python here.
Oh.
You know, pythons are so strong, and they are only kept in a special way that what we call snake base.
Oh.
They dig a hole and then cement the hole for 5 feet, and then the rest of the part should be metal, but not a glass like this. Otherwise, a mature python has a maximum power of 78 watts. It can crush this glass just with one strike. But for the venomous snakes like this one, their venom are so powerful. So
Than that of the
that is
python.
the adaptation actually is their venom. But for the non-venomous animals like python, normally their bodies are so strong because they constrict.
Okay.
They become endangered. And then after being endangered, they extinct. So now they are in the third phase of extinction. That's why the government now is laying a lot of emphasis in conserving sitatungas. When you kill this animal, they fine you 2 million shillings. But if you can't afford, they jail you for life. But they have a very delicious meat.
It's so
I
sweet.
remember when we were preserving this one, because it's a University of Adventist School, they don't eat flesh. So we were given flesh to take home.
So you are not Adventist.
So I'm an Adventist
I
sometimes.
know that
when-
sometime back.
Formaldehyde. Formalin.
Formalin.
Yeah, that's English name, but the scientific name is formaldehyde. So this chemical here, it belongs to the group of alcohol, the alkanes, and these are very good preservatives. And people normally smuggle these things and dilute and sell to people as alcohol.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
sometimes when they sell to them in concentrated form, they normally corrode people's tissues, causing ones to be blind
Okay.
or even sometimes killing. Sometimes when people use this,
Can you listen, students? Can you listen to the chemical used to preserve? This is sheep brain.
this sheep's brain and this human fetus. So this chemical that we are using to preserve here is called formaldehyde or formalin. Formalin belongs to the group of alcohols known as alkanes. And this same alcohol, people normally smuggle from labs, dilute them and sell to people as alcohol. And when you drink these things in concentrated form, they normally cause death, sometimes blindness. If you are lucky not to die, they sterilize you. All the internal organs will be corroded. That is why we normally tell young people like you to abstain from drugs. Make sure you don't drink alcohol, neither any drug, because those people will not be selling you the genuine drug that you expect, but they just sell to you things like this.
Sure.
So if you imagine, this is sheep's brain, which is so perishable, it can go bad in only 2 days, but it has been here for more than 15 years. So that tells you this preservative is so effective that when you consume when you are still alive, it starts preserving your organs when you are still alive. So make sure after school, or even now, you please abstain from drugs. And then this is human fetus. This was 6 months old baby. And we obtained this one from in a university like this one, the Ministry of Education normally supplies them with laboratory apparatus like these ones from a well-developed labs like in Kenyatta University, Kemri, or places like ISIPE, the International Center of Insects, Physiology and Ecology. So these things are not done locally. Like these ones, we have not just obtained from someone who aborted, but this one has been brought from elsewhere. So make sure after school, you proceed your standards of learning so that you can learn more things like these ones. For example, these things, this alcohol here is 70% alcohol. So, but they were made from a concentrated form of formaldehyde. So in the higher standards of institutions of learning, you will be taught how to prepare that percentage of concentration, because the amount of concentration that we use to preserve higher animals is a higher concentration compared to those ones of the lower animals. And that is only what you will be taught in university levels. So if you terminate your education in high school, you will be really missing to know many things like what you have seen today. So your purpose today is to observe, read, and get inspired so that some of you will proceed and do nursing, engineering, things like automotive, etc., etc. Start abstaining early before you put yourself into trouble. Relatively low compared to the temperatures that are so suitable for reptiles. You know, reptiles are cold-blooded, so this one, their eggs will not hatch when they bury. So it was their kind of adaptation to give live birth. But recently, this one molted, or it removed its skin. So all reptiles remove their skins around 4 times annually to allow them to grow in size. So their outside skin is made of dead cells like these ones. And because of their dead cells, their keratin, they are not elastic. So when the snake tries to increase in size, it really limits them a lot. So when they get satisfied, they normally unskin themselves to allow more growth. That is why when you are plotting a growth graph of reptiles, it is vertical, not vertical, it's vertical and then horizontal, vertical, horizontal. That means in where it is horizontal, it means the growth was 0, having the y and the x axis. So when you plot like that, it means it was growing, and then the horizontality tells you the growth was 0. So during the horizontal part, it means the skin was not removed. After unskinning like this, the snake now grows. If you look at this snake here, it's so fresh, green, and it's so attractive. Yeah, it's alive. That one is alive. And all the vipers, you see the rhinoceros vipers, the pavadas and the gaboon vipers belong to the same family, Viperidae. But the black mambas and the forest cobras belong to one family, Elapidae. All elapids are so swift in speed. That is why they normally hunt. But all the viperids are so slow and clumsy that they normally wait and ambush. So they normally paralyze their venomous snakes. They have got broad heads like that. If you look at the head of this rhinoceros viper, look at the head. It's broad. That one tells you the sublingual glands of snakes, the lower mandible of the snakes are packed with snake venom. With what do we call this one? With a tube that contains snake venom. But they have got no adaptation at all. So when holding snakes, you normally, for the poisonous snakes, you normally hold from the back of the head, like that. And the V-shaped scale that is situated around here, your hands will lock and it will not turn around. But because this one is non-venomous, I just hold it like that. You can try. No problem. That one does not bite. We have another snake here which is non-venomous, but it really bites. So this is a common house snake. It is non-venomous, but it really bites. So you see the way it flips its tongue? That one now is trying to sense actually what is around here. Because snakes does not see so clearly, but they have got very strong sense of smell.
So it can sense.
It is now trying to sense with their tongue. So they have got a forked, wet tongue. So every time they flip their tongue like that, the molecules in the air stick to the tongue. And I told you initially that the olfaction nerves of snakes are found at the base of their tongue. And
so
then,
it can bite you, but it is
this one can bite you, but you don't go to hospital. You just wash your hand with soap to sanitize and stay. Like this one, I really fear. This one has bitten me so many times. So all house snakes has got that white line around the eye. Look at that white line. That's called a supercilium. But they normally vary in color. Those ones are also Jackson's tree snake. The Jackson's tree snake is one of the examples of non-venomous snakes. This one stays so much on trees. 99% of its life is arboreal. The Jackson's tree snake belongs to the family.
Listen, students.
This one belongs to the genus Thrasops, but the species is Thrasops jacksoni. So this one belongs to the family Boidon. They belong to the same family with this one here, Boidon.
Common.
So both of them are non-venomous, but this one stays so much on trees.
Okay.
And then, even to identify a male snake from a female snake, you look at the morphology of the tail.
Okay.
How the tail is either thin or fat. If you look at this snake here, it has a very long, slender, thin tail. So male snakes have got whip-like tails like this one. But if you look at the tail of this snake, it is fatter.
Sure.
So this is a female snake. but this is a male snake. So all the female snake have got broad tails because of they need much room to keep for ovaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hii umeambiwa inaitwa Black Cobra. Is it non-venomous or venomous? Iko na venom. Yeah? This is a neurotoxin. Okay. Another one? Hii inaitwa hapana. Hapana.
Kuna kengine
This is
hapo sawa hivyo. Reflect ya ile hata kuogopa.
in fiber. It feeds on rodents, bats, frogs, and lizards. Ati albino rats. Hizi ndio wanakula. Nani anakula rat?
But what about this? This one is not even found in Africa. It's only found in marginalized only to the Arctic, the northern part of USA, where these are reindeer. Are you trying to say deer?
Shida, can you listen for instructions?
So this is known as reindeer, and it is not found in warmer parts. It's only found in colder regions, around 60 degrees north and 60 degrees north in around the Antarctic. So, and then this one here, this is the canine of an hippopotamus. And hippo has got 4 canines like this one for defense. And hippos can really bite with a very strong jaw. So that is why they have even killed many lions, because of their strong bite with their canines. So these are only for defense. So that is why I should remind you again, don't play with wildlife. However small they are, they still have a defense mechanism. And then over here, this is the giraffe skull. Next to this one, this is a giraffe skull, hyena's mouth. And then this is the baboon skull. And then down here, this is the back of a crocodile. Crocodiles have got very hard backs, whereby even if you try to hit, it will not abandon you. Unless you knock only their nostrils. They are so delicate. And then these are the snake's eggs. And then these are tortoise eggs. I think those people who are in front, when you move this way, those ones at the back will see. And then these are the crane's eggs, the grey crown crane. This one, this bird here. You know this bird? Yes. This is called grey crown crane. They normally lay 3 or 2 eggs. What else? That is ostrich eggshell. And then over here, this one, they are tortoises. Tortoises. Yeah, this one around. This one around. And then over here, these are preserved moles. So students here in university are doing their things practically. So like they were preserving moles, they normally use small mammals like this one for experiments. Yeah, these are tortoises and then this therapy. These are dead therapy. These are, they are all so easily. Can you try and see how hard it is? How is it? You may not break it easily. So that is the adaptation of this animal here. They normally eat what? Ants, termites. Most of the time they must dig, and they normally dig big burrows for them to live in. And
Okay.
then this was the skin of colobus.